In 1410, near the Sri Lankan coastal town of Galle, the Chinese admiral Zheng He erected a stone tablet with a message to the world. His inscription was in 3 languages, Chinese, Persian, and Tamil, and his message was even more remarkable. According to Robert Kaplan's 2010 book, Monsoon, it invoked the blessings of the Hindu deities for a peaceful world built on trade. 600 years ago, a Chinese sailor statesman called upon Indian gods as he set out to develop commercial links with the Middle East and East Africa through the Indian subcontinent. The subcontinent has long been at the center of Asia's most vital trade routes, and India's commanding position at the heart of South Asia places it in both an enviable and a much resented position. As an editorialist in the Indian magazine Seminar observed, quote, "The overwhelming presence of India creates an asymmetry that pushes other smaller countries into suspecting hegemony in every proposal for greater cooperation, in turn feeding into an incipient irritation within India that its neighbors are united only in their anti-India sentiment," unquote. No one loves a huge neighbor. One need only ask the Mexicans what they think about the US, or the Ukrainians their views of Russia. India cannot help the fact that whether it wants to or not, it accounts for 70% of the population of the 8 countries that make up the subcontinent's premier regional organization, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, SAARC. Worse, it accounts for 80% of the region's collective GDP and is by far its most militarily powerful member. Whenever India gets together with its neighbors, it occupies more space and displaces more weight than the rest of them combined. Even the most adroit diplomacy would not be able to skirt the implications of this inescapable reality. India is the proverbial 298-pound gorilla on the beach, whose slightest step will immediately be seen by the skinny 98-pounders as proof of insensitivity, bullying, or worse. Nonetheless, there is a widespread perception, which New Delhi would be unwise to ignore, that India's relations with the countries neighboring it have been poorly managed. While its recent rise, unlike China's, is largely seen around the world as benign, India's neighbors hardly constitute an echo chamber for global applause. Of the 8 nations with which it shares a land or maritime border, Pakistan, China, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and the Maldives, there has been a history of problems of varying degrees of difficulty with 6. 2 of these, Pakistan and China, are discussed in separate chapters and will only be tangentially referred to here. Adding Afghanistan to the list, though technically it does not belong after Pakistan's capture in 1948 of the strip of land in northwestern Kashmir that made Afghanistan a territorial neighbor of India's, India has 9 countries in its direct neighborhood, which are all in varying degrees vital to its national security.